What is going on, buddy? Welcome back to All Things Film. Today I'm here to talk about Mid90s and give you guys my thoughts and review on it. This is Jonah Hill's directorial debut, and I'm very excited to talk about this movie because this movie has a lot of good stuff in it, and I'm excited to break it down for you guys. But no worries, this movie review will have no spoilers in it. My movie reviews never have spoilers. I will always mention when they have spoilers, but other than that, let's get started. So the movie follows the story of a 13-year-old kid who lives in a dysfunctional family. His family and him never really get along, especially his older brother. He always argues and fights with him, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But basically, he wants to kind of figure himself out, and he puts himself out there and joins a group of friends who are a lot older than him. They're a bunch of high schoolers, and they're skateboarders, and the movie is basically his journey of this whole new lifestyle, and it's a very fun and a nostalgic trip, and I really did enjoy this movie for the most part. So first thing I want to talk about is how this movie looked, because this movie was filmed using a 4:3 aspect ratio, and it looked like it was a very low budget movie, and it actually looked like it was from the 90s, and that's a good thing because it added a lot to the movie. And it kind of looked like the whole movie was shot on a camcorder, which is very interesting because one of the characters in the movie, his character was recording their entire journey also. So I thought this added a lot to the movie, and it really even made it more nostalgic. And if you told me this movie was from the 90s and I didn't know anything about this movie, I most likely would have believed you because that's exactly how it looked like. But let's talk about the nostalgic effect of this movie, because first thing I want to say is that you don't have to be a teenager in the 90s to understand this movie, because I was a baby in the 90s. I'm not gonna lie, I was not a teenager in the movie, so I don't remember jack shit from the 90s at all. Okay, I was a baby, but I could still relate to this movie because this movie isn't just about the 90s, it's how kids were before the boom of technology. This movie is just kids doing kid stuff for the most part, and I mean, like I said, before the boom of technology. And this is stuff my friends and I did too, even the camcorder stuff. Like I said, there was a character in this movie who recorded a lot of their stuff they did as friends. That's exactly what my friends and I would do too. When we're out playing and stuff, there would be somebody with a camera just recording us. So this is a good fun movie, and it kind of reminds you of old times as a kid doing kid stuff out in the street until your parents called you in for dinner. So it was definitely a fun ride. This movie though did take a turn. It wasn't just about kids being kids having fun and doing kid stuff. It also explored a lot of dark stuff like drugs and the partying life and all that, and friends losing themselves and losing their friends to drugs and all that. And I'm not going to get too much into that part of the movie because that should be a part of the movie that you experience yourself. But the reason I bring it up is because I really felt for these characters, and that's the next thing I want to talk about is the actors, because the actors really sold their lines. And the thing is, these actors were not professional actors. Jonah Hill said he got non-actors to do this. Like, these kids have never acted before, some of these kids, and I thought they did a great job with their roles. Sonny Soljic, who played the main kid Stevie, he was really the only professional kid actor in this movie, and he doesn't even have that many roles either. He's still very young, so he did a great job. But all the other kids, like his skateboard crew, a lot of them were real skateboarders. They were good at it, and that's obvious because we saw a lot of tricks and stuff, and a lot of them were actually good at skateboarding. But none of them have really acted before, and I thought they did a really great job with it, and I was very impressed with all the performances in this movie. Lucas Hedges was also in this movie, and he's a great actor. He's been in a lot of good movies lately. He is like a rising star. I do like this guy, and he was great in the movie. He wasn't in a lot of the movie, but the scenes he was in I did like. And he played Ian, which was Stevie's older brother, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, those two did get in a lot of fights, and they were very, very brutal fights, which was kind of what led Stevie to go find friends and kind of try a new lifestyle. And then also the mother of Stevie and Ian was played by Catherine Watterson. Catherine Watterson and Lucas Hedges, they weren't in the movie that much. They weren't focused on that much because it was about obviously the group of kids. But when they were in the movie, I thought they did good with their scenes. Now, the only negative thing I really have to say about this movie, and it's not even that big of a deal because there's a lot more to this movie than what I'm about to say, and that's the flow of it, because it was a very disorganized at some parts, and it kind of seemed out of place, some scenes, and just kind of random. But essentially, we're kind of watching this movie through like a camcorder in a way. Like, we're just watching the lives of these kids being kids, so I totally get it. It's not a big deal or anything, but the ending also, it ended very, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, it did end very quickly. Like, the movie isn't short or anything. I think it's like an hour and like 20 something minutes, but the way the movie ended, it was like very quick, and I even had people in my theater saying like, what, that's it? Because it did end in a place that you didn't really expect to end. so it did end very abruptly. But other than that, that's really my only issue with the movie. But I still very enjoyed it. Very enjoyed it. Is that even proper English? I did enjoy it very much. I also did love the dialogue that Jonah Hill used when he wrote this movie, because he made these kids talk like kids talk, and even like especially back then, because a lot of the terminology they use is very offensive, but back then it wasn't. Like, for example, one of the words they always used was gay. Like, they just use the word gay when talking about something negative, like that's gay or whatever, and that's very offensive. And I don't even know why people still use that nowadays, because I still hear people say that, and if you do, I don't even know why you're saying that, but please teach your kids not to use that terminology. But it's true though, people did use that a lot, especially back then. And you know, he did do a good job with writing the dialogue in a way that kids talk, because when I heard these kids talk, it kind of reminded me of people back in like elementary school and middle school, and even a little bit in high school, of people talking like this, because that's really the way, you know, these young kids used to talk. And I thought he did a great job with the script, and I thought it was a great directorial debut. I mean, I really hope Jonah Hill gets nominated for Best Original Screenplay. I don't know if he is though, because we still got a lot of good movies coming out these next couple months. It's kind of like Oscar season now, like from October to December. It's like when all the big good movies come out. So we still have to wait and see. But if Jonah Hill gets nominated for Best Original Screenplay, I'm gonna be happy, and I think he does deserve it, because this was a great movie. And you know, Jonah Hill is very underrated in my opinion. Like, sometimes he gets overlooked as that guy who is just like the comedy dude, but he's very talented. One of my favorite movies of Jonah Hill, and I know I'm getting sidetracked right now, sorry, but is The Wolf of Wall Street. And in that movie, he took like a huge pay cut just because he wanted to work with Martin Scorsese, and he was such a huge part in that movie, and that movie would not have been what it was without him. And this dude is dedicated, and I am a big fan of Jonah Hill, and I thought he did a great job with this movie. And this movie is definitely more than just a movie. Like, I've been watching interviews of Jonah Hill, you know, talking about this movie, and he is, I mean, just watching him makes me happy, because he's just so passionate about this movie. And I can definitely tell this movie is kind of like a love letter to the mid-90s from him, because this movie, I thought he put a lot of thought and effort into it, and I did like it for the most part. But I am gonna wrap it up shortly. You guys in the comments down below, hopefully I didn't give any spoilers away. I don't think I did. I didn't want to talk too much about the plot or anything, but in the comments down below, you guys be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions about the movie, and what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, all that in the comments down below. I do like movies. I know on this channel we do a lot of Walking Dead videos, but I am definitely gonna try to do at least a couple movie reviews a week. So stay tuned for that. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe for daily videos. But like I said, I am gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been All Things Film, and until next time, peace.